Alrighty, welcome back. So I'm hoping that you saw the other video to factoring trinomials where a is equal to 1. This video is going to be where a is not equal to 1. So we're going to focus on that. And if you already know how to factor, that's good. But a lot of students, they get into a math class and really they forget how to factor because factor is really the most important skill yet you need to understand when you're doing this kind of math and as you climb up the math ladder. And I don't want that to be a disappointment to you because factoring does not go away. So I want you to I want me to show you how to teach you more factoring trinomials. By the way, I hope that you remember that you're dealing with a quadratic equation, which is equal to that. Now, this is factor. Sometimes you can have this equal to y, and y can be on both sides. It doesn't matter, but you are focusing with quadratics. And this is as a trinomial, again, because there's 1, 2, 3 terms. 1, 2, 3. And I don't want you to get misled, by the way, because it looks like this. We just don't write this part right here because this part is equal to 1. And you know what 1 times c is. It's just c. So understanding that, let's go ahead and try to factor these couple examples. And so you have a nice idea. So the first thing we want to make sure is that it's in order. So we want to make sure that we have this in order. When I mean in order, that it goes 2, 1, and then 0. Because that's very important the way how you would start this off. So let's go ahead and factor this trinomial and go from there, okay? So we know we have a trinomial. Some students, if they're really good at this, they can start with 2 parentheses. I'm not going to start there because I want to make sure you get this. So let's make a diamond. And if you don't know what this is, visit my other video, factoring trinomials with a equals 1 for that information. But I'm just going to go ahead and do this because I want to make sure that we get this. So what goes on top is your a times c, which is 3 times negative 5, which is negative 15. So that's on top. On the bottom, you're going to take whatever this is here and put that right on the bottom. And so you're going to kind of add, subtract, whatever you feel like doing there. Now, we want to make sure that we get these. So that comes from this one right here, so that negative 15. We want to make sure that 2 numbers multiply, they give you negative 15, but also give you negative 2. So let's go ahead and get 1 times 15, 3 times 5. Now, I know that 1 times 15 is not going to work. So let's take care of that. We're going to look at 3 and 5. So I'm going to go ahead and put 3 and I'm going to put 5. Now I want to worry about the signs. So I want to make negative 15, but also I want to make positive 2 or negative 2. So let's see, what 2 numbers, 2 signs. Let's see, not both negative because that won't work. It's going to have to be this one because a positive times a negative is a negative, and that minus that is that. See how that's working? Okay, so if you saw the other video that had a equals 1, we could skip we could skip that bonus feature. So we could skip, right? If that was true. But since we don't have that, we can't skip this part. So we're going to take that 3x squared and we're going to go 3x squared. And we are going to take whatever this is and we're going to add an x to it. And we're going to take whatever this is and add an x to it. And then minus 5. And hopefully I put this in color for you to see this because that's very important. So do you see how these 2 right here equal this? Do you see how these 2 combine together get you this? That's what you want. Now, there are 4 pieces of the pie. You want to divide this by 2. So you want to divide that by 2. And so when you divide that by 2, you're gonna have 2 on this side, 2 on this side. You want to look for a GCF, greatest common factor. So the greatest common factor between these two, I hope that you see this, is going to be 3x. You see why that is? Because there's a 3 and there's how many x's? Technically 2 and 1. So the greatest I can take out is 1. What is left over is, well, that's going to be x plus 1. You see how that works out? If you distribute this back, you should get the top piece. On this side, I have 5. But do you remember from the previous video that I did with this one that I have to get it just like this? I have to make sure I get it just like this. It has to be the same. So what I'm going to do to get this to be the same, I hope that you're going to see this. I'm going to go ahead and take out a -5. If you don't see how I did this, just watch. If I take out a -5 here, doesn't that become positive? If I take out a -5 here, what's left? Well, it has to be +1. Do you see why it's +1? Because if I take this -5 and go here, I get that. If I take that -5 and go here, don't I get that? Do you see how these are two the same? Okay, put those together. There's one factor. Where is the other one? Well, that is 3x minus 5. 3x minus 5. And there's your factored form. Some students might, if they've been working at this for quite some time, go from here to there. If they've been working for so long. I'm not saying that you have to be this way, but I feel well that if I do some of this work, because we all make mistakes, and also even that the brilliant people also have to do some thinking too. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Let's try this one. So this one's pretty much the same idea. I'm going to go a little faster with this one because I know that this is not a 1. This is a 2. So, and to do this, what I'm going to do is start out like the diamond method. And I'm going to go 2 times 2, which is 4. That 5 goes down there. So now I'm ready to start. Okay, I got to make 4. So I got to make 4. So I'm going to go, let's say 1 and 4, 2 and 2. 2 and 2 don't work because they don't equal 5. And by the way, I think we have to do 1 and 4. So if I do 1 and 4, do you see why I'm doing 1 and 4? Because what is 1 times 4 is positive 4, and 1 plus is 5. So now I have this. I have to be very careful that this is not a 1. This is a 2. So I have to do like the bonus. I call it a bonus feature. So we're going to go that 2x squared. I'm going to take that 1x. I'm going to take that plus 4x. And then I'm going to take the plus 2. Do you see how I did that? So remember, I'm going to take this there. And then I'm going to take this answer and go 1. If you don't have to put a 1 there if you don't want to. If you want to put a 1, that's fine. But it just means the same thing. This 4 becomes an x. This 2 comes there. Do you see how if you add these two up, don't you see you get the middle part? Good. Draw a line. And now you're going to do the GCF of both sides. GCF of this side, you have x squared here and x. I can take out an x, and what's left over? Well, that's 2x plus 1. If you can't do this, distribute this back to check. On this side, you see you have 2 and 4. The best thing is take a 2 out. What's left over? 2x plus 1. Look how these are the same. When these are the same, that becomes one of my factors. Do you see how these are the outside? These are the GCFs on the outside. By the way, there's a plus right there. That comes x plus 2, and there you go. So that's kind of the way you would do this. What I would do is probably watch other videos on this. I am going to make another video that has different techniques when you get something a little bit worse than this. I'm going to give one probably where you have something to the third power, and that becomes a little bit cumbersome because it involves a lot more factoring than this, but this is pretty much the same process of factoring trinomials of a equals not 1. By the way, I know I haven't shown it on here. You can also have a negative right here. You can also have a negative. It's the same process. You just have to be careful with that negative. What I would do is kind of look out for I would look out for GCFs as much as I possibly can first. So that'd be my first thing. And then after that, do the diamond method. And then third one, just make sure the middles, so the middles add up. And then the fourth thing is that I would go ahead and I would foil box to check. And the reason I would do that because I want to make sure that this process works, because factoring is really the opposite of foil. That's all it is. You're just going backwards. And that becomes, foil is actually easier. Factoring involves a lot more cumbersome stuff. So hopefully that works out, and hope I see you in the next video. Thank you.